Hi, this is Courtney with LPHJ Kitchen. Did you know that it is estimated that 1 in every 12 kids has a food allergy? Did you also know that approximately 1% of Americans have celiac disease? That equals out to about 1 in every 133 Americans. What's even more astounding is that 83% of those people who have it are either misdiagnosed or undiagnosed. These statistics from the National Foundation of Celiac Awareness help illustrate just how unaware people are about celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or other food allergies. There's no medical cure for celiac disease or food allergies. The best solution is to simply avoid those problematic foods. Chances are you've probably seen a lot more gluten-free products in the aisles of your grocery stores, or maybe you've noticed that products that are naturally gluten-free are now labeled that way. That's because the gluten-free industry has nearly doubled in the last 5 years to include sales of up to $5 billion. Now that people are being diagnosed more often, companies have to capitalize on this growing market. For those of you who have celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or other food allergies, I don't need to explain any symptoms or side effects to you. However, for those of you who aren't familiar with these conditions, I wanted to provide just a little bit of insight to you. May is Food Allergy and Celiac Awareness Month, as you may have seen in some of my blog posts or in my emails. Now that I live with non-celiac gluten sensitivity and other food sensitivities on a daily basis, spreading the word about this and making people more aware is something I'm extremely passionate about. There's such a wide variety of symptoms that can present in people with celiac disease or food allergies. It can range from person to person. For me, it was mainly digestive. I know some people who have symptoms that are more neurological or skin-related or something else. I think that's why it's so hard to diagnose it and why it takes on average 6 years to get a solid diagnosis of celiac disease. What I wanted to illustrate to you today is how important it is for others to know why maintaining a gluten-free diet is so crucial. And I can't speak for everyone, but I can only speak for myself, so I wanted to explain my situation. First off, my diagnosis took 3 years. 3 long years to me, but it would have been a lot longer if it wasn't for my persistent husband. I didn't know how bad I had gotten until I had received my first set of extensive labs back for the first time. And I was deficient in almost every vitamin, nutrient, or mineral that they tested me for. Every time I ate, I was showing a sensitivity to some type of food I was consuming, and that led to other health problems. So food was becoming my poison, and my body was literally attacking itself. My full story is on my website, so if you want to read more about my situation, you can go there. But today I just wanted to share you the quick version. The last year and a half has been pretty rough as far as my diet goes, but it's also been very promising. In addition to gluten, I also have dairy, soy, and egg sensitivities. And I have been on a very restrictive diet, but I have seen improvements in my body, my digestion, my weight, my mood, even my hair. And as I mentioned before, this isn't a diet for me. It's a lifestyle change. And here's how our new life goes. First off, there's no gluten in our house whatsoever. No Oreos, no Cheez-Its, no Little Debbie snack cakes, no whole wheat pasta, no cereals, no loaves of bread in my bread box. Why? Cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is a huge deal, especially for those people who are highly sensitive or highly allergic to gluten. I can't even have the slightest crumb touch my arm without breaking out in an itchy red rash that's rather embarrassing and really annoying. The problem for me is that it does not make me sick for just one day if I ingest it. It's what my doctors refer to as the gluten hangover. And basically, after that initial day, for the next 3 to 4 days, I have what is similar to flu symptoms. When you get really achy, you got a lot of aches and pains in your joints and your muscles. You get headaches and you're nauseous, your digestion's kind of a wreck, and you just feel really weak. My immune system has been compromised, and I just feel really, really puny. And one little crumb can have detrimental effects on me for weeks. So I have to do whatever I can to avoid it. And how do I do that? Again, we don't have any gluten in the house, but I also prepare and eat foods myself. Everything that I eat has either been prepared by me or my husband. in our home or a place where we've thoroughly cleaned and deglutened. So it's hard, but we manage. Holidays are hard because we're usually at family or traveling to families' houses or whatever. But what I do is I bring my own little lunchbox that has my pre-cooked foods in it and utensils from my house so that I know that they're safe. And then I avoid the dinner table and kitchen and any place like that has food at all costs. And I kind of just stay away from everybody else while they're eating so that I can avoid all of that. What about eating out? I don't. I've tried, but I've learned my lesson. I want to, but it's not worth the risk. I miss date nights or eating at our favorite restaurants after church on Sundays. I really miss quick drive-through meals on busy weeknights. I know there are several gluten-free menu options at most restaurants now, which is fantastic. I'm so happy for that. But I can't handle the cross-contamination, so I have to avoid those. A local sandwich shop that we used to go to had great gluten-free bread, and I used to eat there a lot with my family, and I couldn't figure out why I was still getting sick. Well, then I realized they were cutting my sandwich on the same boards that they were cutting other people's sandwiches without cleaning it, and there was the gluten. So, and I don't blame the restaurants at all. And they don't know, they don't understand what it's like for me. They don't know what happens to my body, and frankly, it would be almost impossible for them to cater specifically to everybody's needs like that. Nobody would get their food in any amount of reasonable time. But, so I just have to make it myself. I can't trust anybody enough yet to make it for me. So when we travel, when it's rare, we stay in hotels that have kitchens so that I can prepare all our meals. We save money from not eating out, but it's usually pretty simple foods that we have at our hotel room. Dinner with friends is pretty similar. We usually have get-togethers at our home, and I request that nobody else really brings anything, not because they're bad cooks. I'm sure some of them might be. I'm just kidding. But it's because I have to inspect everything that I eat. So if I know what's in it, then it makes things a lot easier, faster, and safer for me. And I don't expect everybody to understand my situation or get why we have to do that. But it's hard, but it is what it is, and we just have to manage. What about my kids? I get that a lot. What do my kids eat? Well, my kids are not showing any gluten sensitivity symptoms right now. I've passed genes on to them, I know, but right now they seem to be fine. So again, we don't have any gluten in the house. But if they go to grandma's, I don't forbid them from having mac and cheese. If they're at school and they want to eat lunch there, that's fine. I try not to restrict their diets too much because I know what it's like to live on a restricted diet. However, when they do come home, we have to decontaminate them. And so that means change their clothes, baths, brush their teeth, that kind of thing. If you have kids, you know that they can be really messy. Honestly, kids can wear a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on their face for days if you're not careful. So you just have to make sure that they understand as best they can. I mean, my son is old enough that he understands. My daughter, not so much. She has no idea. But again, we just make it work. Packaged foods is something I'm also asked about. I try to have a review of the week, where I either review a product or service or some sort of company that I found that I think my readers would appreciate. So you might check those out. But there are a lot of companies who are allergy friendly, and that's great. And there's coming more and more and more companies. And I am a sucker for chocolate. I mean, chocolate's my weakness. And if I can find a good chocolate bar, I am one happy gal. And Enjoy Life Foods is a great company. They have really good chocolate, but they also have other products that are free of the 8 major food allergens. And that's great. And they're easy to find. You can order them online or whatever. Bob's Red Mill is another one of our favorites. They have a strict gluten testing policy for their products, so I feel safe ordering their flours or baking mixes or whatever we may end up getting from them. So as more and more companies create gluten-free products, I'm sure this market's just going to keep growing, and it's wonderful. So even though it seems like I've given up on a lot of my favorite foods or my favorite pastimes, I really haven't. I've gained an extensive amount of knowledge, and it's helped show me a new passion in life, and that passion is to help provide allergy-friendly recipes to my readers on my blog. and just to help others know that it's not as hard as it may seem at first. But I try to look on the bright side and realize how lucky I am that I get to share my story with others, especially those of you who are starting in this gluten-free living and are in the beginning stages. And I hope that you've gained a little bit of a glimpse into my life and learned a little bit about food sensitivities or celiac disease. What most people don't understand is, one, how severe it can be, and two, how different it can be for everyone. So living with food sensitivities is something you can't really see. It's one of those invisible diseases that most people live with quietly. I think that if everyone knew a little bit more about it, that we could help each other a little bit better. You know, if more people knew what was going on, work environments might be a little easier, schools could have a better grasp on students with sensitivities, and communities can grow to help people with food allergies. So I hope this has given you just a little bit of insight, and I encourage you to learn more, especially during Food Allergy and Celiac Awareness Month, and help spread the word so that we can all live just a little bit easier. I'm going to be sharing a few resources for those of you who have food allergies or just want to learn more. So be sure to check out the blog post that this video is on, and you can get a little bit more details there. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.